pH. What is it? We've all heard the term, the two letters, pH, but do we really know what it is and why it's so important for us hops growers? Well, folks, today we're going to find out. My name is Max Raphael from Hops World, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the history of pH and why it's so important to know about pH for us hops growers. Let's do it. Hey folks, I'm glad you could be with us today. Today we're going to talk about pH and why pH is important for us to grow hops. So, what is actually pH? We've all heard of it, but a lot of times we don't even know what it means. pH is the potential of hydrogen, or sometimes called the power of hydrogen. When we write pH, we always use a small p and a large letter, capital letter H. H is actually an element, and the elements we use capital letters. The first time pH was used was by a biochemist from Denmark named Søren Peter Lauritz Sørensen. Wow, big name. This was in 1909. The pH actually has a mathematical formula. And the formula for pH is the negative logarithm of the hydrogen ion. Huh? That's what I said, huh? Well, let's get basic and talk practicality when we talk about pH. What's important to us hops growers. So don't worry. The pH scale actually starts at 0 and goes to 14. 0 being very acidy and 14 being very alkaline. 7.0 is considered neutral, right in the middle. Distilled water at 25 degrees Celsius is considered neutral and should have a pH of 7.0. Now, things, for example, and their pH would be a lime or a lemon. We all know it's very acidy, and the pH of a lime would be 2.0, or right about there. Clorox is actually very alkaline, and the pH of Clorox would be about 13.0, or at least above 12, almost at the end of the scale. Something we all know of, coffee. Coffee is slightly acidy with a pH of 5.0. Now, something really interesting about the pH scale is it is actually exponential. So what does that mean? That means that something with a pH of 5.0 would be 10 times more alkaline than something with a pH of 4.0. And something with a pH of 5.0 would be 100 times more alkaline than something with a pH of 3.0. So when we compare lemon with 2.0 pH and coffee with a 5.0 pH, they would be 1,000 times different, lemon being more acid than coffee 1,000 times, and coffee being more alkaline than lemon, or lime in this case, 1,000 times. Pretty interesting. So, what does that all mean for us hops growers? Well, if you look at the chart here, I made this chart and it shows along the bottom the various pH of your water, and going up the side shows the different nutrients and elements that your hops plant will need. The sweet spot, if you notice, is between 6.5 and 7.0. In that range, your plants can absorb all of the different nutrients. And if you go out of that range, there are certain nutrients that are very much harder to absorb. So, in all of our plantations, with all of our water and all of our soil, we shoot for 6.5 pH. So this is all about pH. One of the biggest errors that I see with new hops growers is using water or soil with the wrong pH. Okay, so there it is. Potential of hydrogen. Now that we know what pH is, what are we going to do? We're going to test our pH. The next tip number 1A, is going to be on just that. Testing our pH and how to test the pH of our water. And tip number 1B will be on how do we change the pH of our water. So stay tuned for them tips coming up. Please, if you have any suggestions or comments, write down below. If you want me to do any tips specific on certain topics, let me know. We're going to be doing tips every week. We have our new hops vlog coming out once a week, all about hops. Don't miss our lives coming up. And in the past, if you like, please put a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel here so you don't miss anything. Check out one of our old lives. Hopefully I can get this thing to work. I'm still learning. But thank you all for being here with me. I really enjoyed it. Cheers to life.